Maynard, you called? All right, sorry. I'm in the middle of doing a webinar. And I'm trying to turn it off, but I don't think I have yet.
I think he's just turning his phone off. Yeah. Anybody else have an experience they want to share about being stagnant? No.
No, because I spent I do understand feeling well, I call it feeling trapped and stuck, but then I do something totally outrageous to get out of it. I just do things. So, but I do understand about outflow and change, and for me being stagnant, because I'm pretty sure I've done it, that then I start to get bored with myself.
Being stagnant for me fortunately doesn't last very long, because my thrust just really pushes me the other direction, pushes me to move forward. But when I do feel stagnant, man, I'm a shit. It's like I can't stand my own space or my own being, because it's just I'm frustrated and I'm edgy and I'm, yeah, it's like, oh. Then, yeah, sometimes, especially when Jazz is around and I'm feeling stagnant and I don't say anything, I just have this look on my face and she goes, "Tell me what's going on, Mama." But it really is, these days, it's only like at the most a day, more often a couple of hours. But because I do, you know, I have worked with this for so long, I'm able to get myself out of it, and having the thrust of, you know, every challenge is an awakening with fulfillment. It pushes me to make choices. It pushes me to move forward. And I push me to move forward because I don't like the feeling.
Yeah, when I don't share, I get bitchy. I start blaming everybody. The whole family suffers because the containment is just palpable, And then when I do spit, it comes out not the way, it's not articulated well. It's just a blah and an explosion. So I'm learning, I'm tendency to do an explosion, but do it in a nice way. Not in a bomb, because the bomb's got to be, no matter what, it's gonna erupt. It's just how I erupt it has changed.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is check out two numbers from between 1 and 11. And one will be your first number and one will be your second number. We'll go through these. These are the questions that were on the slides, and share on those questions to just get two numbers. Okay. So, Leonie, what was your first number?
11.
11. Okay. So, I guess read 11 and then share on that.
And when I do learn, what do I do with it? Am I possessive of it, or do I pass it on? Organising it in a service that can benefit, others can benefit from. That is the whole reason I'm on the planet.
That's it. Okay.
That
Cool.
is it.
Okay, next would be Joan. What would be your number? You're muted. Can't hear you.
I actually did get number 11 as well.
Okay.
Do you want my first number? Is it okay to do the 11?
Do your first number first.
Oh, well, it's number 5 then.
There you go. So just
What
read.
do I gain by stepping out of the current and going wandering in all kinds of other directions? I laughed when I read this because I did remember reading this in the slide, and I went, yes, there is that tendency to not have that focus. It's like I go off, on walkabout. I can definitely say when I do it, it's like a habit, right? It's like I would say it was a survival when I was growing up. Now that I'm maturing, I'm seeing that it can cause a lot of grief for me, definitely. But the question is, what do I gain by stepping out of the current? Not a lot. Not a lot.
Jean, what would be yours?
Mine was number 4, the first one. Oh God. What do I gain if I fight the current? The current being the direction of the outflow for the day.
You there?
You're muted somehow.
Okay. When did I get muted? All
Right at
along?
the beginning.
We didn't.
All right.
We just heard you read the
I
question.
Oh, okay. What I do is, yes, I'm a fighter my whole life. I've fought all sorts of things along the way, you know, don't tell me what to do and all that kind of stuff. So when I suddenly, now I'm learning about the different energies, and it's like the other day when it was the change of into the rally of the forces, and I thought, oh, well, I better set some goals and I better do this and that, the other. And it was in regrouping energy, which is kind of okay to regroup, but it's more, I needed to regroup a different way. And I found it really hard to do. But the next day was orientation, and it had a big thing for goals. And so, yes, that came across very clearly when I stopped fighting the regrouping and move, you know, waited for the right energy of orientation to build the month from that, and set goals for the spiritual new year and things like that. Yes, it's a lot harder if and that's the other thing I learned about fighting. Sometimes people are trying to help and I'm, you know, fighting them. And so it's the same thing with the energies. It's me really learning how to tune in and feel, oh, today, just because it's you know, I think, oh, I should, and there's that word, then it's me really know that's, and tuning into the feeling of the energy, and then I wouldn't have even bothered. But I was too busy saying, yeah, no, and that's the right thing to do, and so I'm already fighting. So yes, I can relate to that so well.
Emma?
I got 4 as well.
Okay.
I think when I fight the energy is when I start to feel stagnant, because I'm not being loyal to me, and I'm just fighting what is natural, and it really pushes me away from what I'm meant to be doing, what I'm meant to be working with.
Okay. Leonie, what's your second one?
9. When I judge myself, am I really learning anything and truly understand the situation I've created? When I actually judge myself, I don't understand a fucking thing. And that actually causes more trouble than it's worth. And I actually think I'm responsible for absolutely everything. Because that was the way I was trained when I was but a little girl.
John? You're 11.
Yes, number 11. Yeah. And when I do learn, what do I do with it? Am I possessive of it, or do I pass it on, organizing it in a service that others can benefit from? Well, if I'm going to be honest, I do believe I do that to a point. But, you know, I have my concepts at well that stop me, you know, thinking, oh, you know, it's that value, will people value it? But I think I think since I've been doing LFN, I've stepped more, I'm more in balance now. So I can pass it on a lot more easier. And I'm talking about my spiritual understanding, because when I'm at work, I'm always passing on stuff. You know, everybody says I'm dangerous because I tell everybody. I tell everybody how to do it. And I even do little, you know, documents on how people can do it. So coming from an organization that like to covet, you know, it's quite dangerous having somebody like me. So I'm learning to do the same thing with my, you know, my evolution, my spiritual growth as well.
Jean?
The next one for me was 7. Am I starting to be able to sense the concept in the environment and not let it come too close to me and upset my direction? I'm getting better. I used to just, if I picked up something, I used to just think it was me, you know, and I'm getting better at saying, hey, that's not me. And I often get that as a pitfall word, so I'm warned beforehand now, every morning with a key word, and then I get a pitfall word. And I often get what's me and what's not me. There's different words around that. And so I'm getting a lot better, and I'm like detaching myself from it and noticing. And doing different things to protect myself and observe. But mostly, yes, I am getting very good. But then occasionally I will, you know, slip and straight away just think it's me, and I better work on that. Yeah, well, work on discerning better, you know, but things like that. So yeah, it was really interesting this evening because my niece took me shopping and grocery shopping because we're in lockdown, and she behaved like Sam. She was criticizing everybody. Well, that driver shouldn't have a license. Just carry on. And I was sitting there laughing. I thought it must be a family trait. Yeah.
Come on.
I'm 8.
Hey,
So I guess when I'm in that stagnant feeling, when I'm rebelling against the energy, the outflow energy, I do fall into fighting and confronting myself and judging myself mercilessly. But when I'm not in that stagnant energy, when I am working with the energy that, you know, the LFN energy and energy that's in the planet, I see my tendencies and habits, and I see some of the things I do, and honestly, I laugh at myself a lot and just laugh them off and say, okay, well, that's interesting. I get where I do that and how I do that, and I let it go. But it really depends on if I've fallen into that out of balance, getting caught in the feeling stagnant when I'm not working with the way the energy is flowing. True feeler.
okay. All right. So we're at a
So that was about evolving. Now we're going to move into leaving oneself out. So just briefly, what have you learned so far about evolving?
I love it. It's simple. I am getting a lot of healing from what I just, you know, learnt and heard about, and that evolution is not painful. It's natural. Happens.
Yeah, it works way more effectively if I realize I'm a unique person and that I don't have to be like any other bugger on the planet, or my past lives either.
Yeah, I can relate to all that because my guides have been giving me sort of lessons in well, little chats about stuff like that. And I've really enjoyed doing that because it gave me key points, and I could articulate exactly how I was feeling, And so I know that I'm really evolving as and being more Jean than I've been before.
For me, it's natural. I like the word organic, so I'm going to use organic until I fight it, until I start rebelling. When I start rebelling, I'm damaging myself. But when I'm balanced and I'm you know, let it flow, everything's fine.
Right, so now we're going to move into leaving oneself out. So what we'll do is we'll read through, this is number 12, we'll read through to 18, one after the other. So if you do one slide each, and then we'll come back to number 12. So starting with you, Leonie.
Yep, leaving oneself out. We leave ourselves out when we are not really regrouped, and this can cause us to cut off our outflow and become somewhat stagnant and not moving as a result. We find ourselves blocking into a certain degree our oneness and our blocking to our certain degree of our oneness and our innate desire to be of service.
If we look at how a planet moves, this helps us understand better how we move. A planet has a rotary motion revolving around the sun, and the propulsory motion moving forward in a straight line. It is the same with us. We are moving, evolving constantly without realizing it.
We move very slowly at times, but we are moving. Only when our energy is not moving at all is our energy stagnant.
We can be more conscious of moving like a planet in rotary and propulsory movements. We are in rotary as we find out with patience who we are. For our spiritual growth, we sort out what is important from what is trivia.
Do you want me to read again?
Yes.
Adding and subtracting the things in the mundane keeps us regrouped in this rotary motion. And as we keep in motion, we gain momentum. Then at the same time, we are finding out more about ourselves. We pass it on. This is propulsory motion.
Resisting change in gear from rotary to propulsory is resisting change and leaving ourselves out. As a result, this affects our physical body. Staying directed will prevent us from leaving ourselves out and staying in a rotary too long, which is then like being in a black hole for lack of propulsory movement.
Propulsory is moving forward, giving of ourselves, outflow. And as we keep ourselves
Propulsory is
directed,
moving forward, giving of ourselves outflow. And as we keep ourselves directed, there is no left out of being stagnant.
I thought it was my go.
It was.
Oh, I've been sorry, I'll go on mute.
Dean, you handled that beautifully.
I just thought propulsory is moving forward, giving of ourselves outflow. And as we keep ourselves directed, there is no left out of being stagnant or being stagnant.
Mhm.
And I relate.
All right, so we're going to go back to number 12. Now, there's quite a lot in here. So what we'll do is go back to starting with Leonie, reread it in the first person, and then that person shares. But I would suggest that you take a couple of notes for yourself, you know, because we'll regroup it all at the end of it. But I don't want to rush it because there's quite a lot in here. So read it in the first person. It'll be the same slide that you read the first time. Read it in the first person and that person share. But you can take some notes on it yourselves at the same time.
Leaving myself out. I leave myself out when I am not really regrouped. And this can cause me to cut off my outflow and become stagnant. And I do not move forward as a result. I find myself blocking to a certain degree my oneness and my innate desire to be of service. Yeah, I really relate to this. For me, it's a choice to be alive or not to be alive, really, when this set of energy happens. And it's a conscious decision to crawl out of it when it's there. This has happened probably twice in my life, but to a real serious extent. And it's actually life-threatening. That's enough.
If I look at how my planet moves, this helps me understand better how I move. My planet has a rotary motion revolving around the sun and a propulsory motion moving forward in a straight line. It is the same with me. I am moving, evolving constantly without realizing it. Okay, so evolving around the sun, a propulsory motion moving forward in a straight line. So what I get from the feeling I get from these words is all about, it's like cycles of life, forever going through, evolving, forever moving through the different cycles of life. And it's like I need to do that. I actually need to evolve through each cycle of life, you know, the 7 to 14, you know, 0 to 7, 7 to 14. That's how I was looking at it. It's like forever just cycling through those. And every time I cycle, it's at a different state of consciousness.
I move very slowly at times, but I am moving. Only when my energy is not moving at all is when my energy is stagnant. I can really relate to this because I love travel and moving and going places and doing things and meeting new people and all that. And how along the way, when I was in a place where I couldn't do those things because of the circumstances that were happening, and I made choices, I did it internally. I just started to work on who Jean is and just do it that way. And you know, and constantly. But yes, I did find it was very slow when I did it that way, because I wasn't really outflowing, and the outflow for me is very important. And that's why I like movement. And so I used to go on long walks and do regrouping as I walk. and talk to my guides and do that kind of thing. So around that, I got to do lots of things, and I found things that worked for me. And then that way I got out of the stagnation of feeling stuck. Yep. Thank you.
I can be more conscious of moving like a planet in rotary and propulsory movements. I am in rotary as I find out with patience who I am. For my spiritual growth, I sort out what is important from what is trivia. Yes, for me, being in rotary as I find out with patience who I am, it's like looking at a point from, or part of who or looking at me from all angles. You know, I'm in movement, I'm going round, but I am looking at me from all angles. And then once I've looked at it and understood it, then I can, what's the word for it? Bring it into myself, absorb it into myself and understand it and connect with it, and then move forward from there.
Adding and subtracting the things in the mundane keep us regrouped in this rotary motion. And as we keep in motion, oh, sorry, thank you. Adding and subtracting my things in my mundane keeps me regrouped in my rotary motion. As I keep in my motion, I gain momentum. At the same time, I am finding out more about myself as I pass it on. This is my propulsory motion. This really means a lot. This is spiraling up, whereas anything else is either stagnant or descending into a spiraling down dead black hole. That's it for me.
Resisting changing gear from rotary to propulsory is resisting change and leaving myself out. As a result, this affects my physical body. Staying directed will prevent me from leaving myself out and staying in a rotary too long, which then is like me being in a black hole for lack of my propulsory movement. So I get myself into this quite a lot. I sit, you know, like an object sometimes. I don't actually move. And yeah, and it's like I could see the world passing me by, but I am quite content to sit. And I was thinking about when I was thinking about it a lot. It's like in my family, when, especially the females, when they got to a certain age, it's like they retired. You know, they just stopped. They just became stagnant and didn't move at all. And it felt like, oh yeah, I've done my business, I've raised my kids, and that was it. So I can really relate to this. And the effects on the physical body, of course, is the, you know, obesity, diabetes, and all of that comes with that as well. So it's a very strong mindset as well.
Compulsory is moving forward, giving of myself, outflow. And as I keep myself directed, there is no left out or being stagnant. And I can really relate to that. You know, when I'm really taking care of what I need and what matters to me, and what I'm learning, that's I'm giving permission to outflow, because when I was in a situation where I couldn't go off and let's hop on a bus and go here, or get on a plane and go there, I then started to do readings. I thought, well, at least I'm doing something and being of service and outflowing. And I do little workshops at those fairs and those kind of things. And it didn't amount to a lot, but at the time, I got my outflow and I really felt like I was of service. And so even without doing that and doing something I don't really like doing, which is readings, I learnt to find ways I could be of service when I was feeling stagnated.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
So let's cleanse. Just relax, call in your guidance close. And ask them for the last time you left yourself out. And how did it feel? And what the trigger is. How can you stop it from happening again? And share when you're ready.
No particular order.
We'll start with Leonie.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you're ready.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just avoiding because I've written it down already. Just being really aware that anytime I judge myself, I'm actually starting that spiral down, because there will always be movement. I just don't stay in a constant plane. I'll either die, drown in crap, or I will excel in crap. And that it's my choice. It's probably the most important thing. And that relates to the last time. One of two. It's enough.
So it happens to me when I don't become or I'm not involved in my life. It's like all of a sudden I think, oh yeah, I've done enough. Must be time for me to go. Then I wake up in the morning and then all of a sudden, you know, there's that, oh, here we go again. And that's because I'm not being involved. I'm just letting it pass by. So as soon as it's been a while, but I have, when I grew up, when I became mature and said, it's my time to live. Yeah.
Yes, I got a situation and I suddenly realized when somebody's trying to overpower me or bully me, because it runs my military family, it runs there, and all of a sudden I start to live life their way. And that's how I leave myself out. I suddenly start to live their life. And so I've really been learning a lot, and because then I don't speak up when I need to speak up, and I just feel it and think, oh, too much drama here. If I say something, I'll end up with this big stuff happening. But actually, I'm not a coward, and that's the coward's way. So I'm doing, I think that's my mother's concept, and you know, to keep the peace no matter what. And in that way, I don't live my life, I'm living it her way. And that's, for me, is a really big thing, because I do stand up for myself, but there is times when somebody's coming at me really strong, and I sort of stand there and I think, is this worth bothering about? Or I should just let it go, let them go and work around it. But really, I'm giving in and I'm giving up. And yeah, so, this is great stuff, because my guides are, jumping up for joy here, because it's a big thing. It's a big thing that's followed me through my life at different times and different places, because I am not afraid of people or arguments or any of that. I've just picked up this concept that I really need to look at. Thank you.
Well, I was fooled for 30 seconds thinking I didn't do that. Then my guides opened up the vision, and it's like, holy shit. It's around money. I'm fine with asking for money for the work that I do in the standard format, like doing counselling, or when I'm doing office management, all that sort of stuff. When I'm putting courses on, fine with doing that. But when it comes to things that I do outside the norm, like working in, some of the college projects, or doing this mentoring with a particular person, I don't ask for money, and I don't know why. And it's not necessarily always money, it's an energy exchange. I stopped asking for that energy exchange. And there's a point where I'm doing it because I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm understanding things, but then there's a point where that stops and I'm just giving too much, giving way too much. And I come away feeling deflated, I guess is a good word for it, or it just doesn't feel equal. So the whole 70-40 thing. And I know I need to step up and start saying something. And I know I should be, putting my foot down, because this has happened to me all my life. I've been paid for many years doing contract work, some supposedly part-time, some supposedly full-time, but every time it's been part-time work, I've done full-time hours and still only getting paid part-time. So it's, I've got to step up and just keep really backing myself, saying, no, I can't keep doing it that way. It's got to be 50-50. And it sucks because I keep telling my clients that. Wonder why I keep telling my clients that.
Right, so let's Clinton just regroup on when you put together for yourself. This was actually supposed to be 1 hour, but we felt that the second part was too important to skip through and go through too quickly. So just what have you put together about evolving and leaving yourself out?
What I focus on can bite me.
I'm getting the impression that evolution is just a natural part of it, fundamental existence. And the theme of the month I was reading, and it talked about the sacred of the sacreds. And I was thinking, I don't actually have any sacreds that I know of. And I just thought just now, well, this can be one of my sacreds of sacreds, is my evolution.
Yeah, I've been sitting here and I'm looking at Who's Gene, and it's all about following my path and doing my business and making Jean the most important person. So, because I've just worked out the concept, because I knew my mother did it, but I never thought how it affected me, because I didn't really do that, because I didn't really care. But I do. But I do it when I need to be not doing it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And because I'm not afraid and I don't care if I, rock the boat and all that kind of stuff. It's just a thing. But every now and again, yes, I do. I slip into that, and I'm thought, well, I'm going to set some goals around this, because I want to move forward with that freedom to be who I am without any limitations. And because that's quite a big limitation in conflict, when people are trying to stop me doing what I need to be doing in my own timing, and it can throw a whole my inner balance out. So this is quite huge for me. I can see the depths of what it does, and I'm stopping that one. Thank you. I'm evolving past that one. I forgot to use the word. I'm evolving. Yeah.
For me, it's really understanding that it's okay to do the Rotary, examination and understanding of myself, but it's got to stop and move into propelling, which I think I unconsciously do, but I know that sometimes I get caught too much in that Rotary examination. But leaving myself out, it's that everything has to be 50-50, and the only person I'm cheating and being unfair to is me. Nobody else gives a shit if I give them the 70%. They'll take it. It's me that's got to take that back.
Okay, so take a 10-minute break. Come back at 10 to your hour. Okay. Thank you. Right, guess what? It's time for questions and answers. Just so you know, that the next course will be the last of the questions. 30 questions.
So we've reached our plateau.
You have. You have.
Oh, we're going to read the other ones first.
Oh, yeah. Good question. Right, so just to recap on the previous questions from last time. What does it mean to live life correctly? It means to perform one's duties at the right time. What does it mean to live life intelligently? It means to always keep a proper sense of values, to take the essential, leaving the non-essential to its proper place. Above all, it means not to lose oneself in details. What does it mean to live a life of truth? It means to always be truthful to oneself in feelings, in thoughts, in words, and in deeds. So here we go. So the question people will be me, Pamela, and Joan. And the answer people will be Thomas, Jean, and Leonie. So Thomas, can you read this slide, please?
Continuation of questions, answers. What does it mean to manifest love in one's life? To live lovingly. It means to give always to everybody, under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love.
Next one. Next slide.
Oh. What practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square? Spirit that is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached. How many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness? There are 5. The sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God.
Oh, we've got
Okay.
to stop. We've got to record.
Oh,
It's
yes.
recording.
Oh,
Yeah,
It didn't stop.
Oh, sorry. No, I
You
didn't
didn't
say
stop it.
Didn't say it.
Good to recheck though.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, so question people, write down the question. Answer people, write down the answer.
I wonder. Pause recording. Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, we could have paused.
We're recording.
Like question people have the question, answer people have the answer. Right, so I am Ian, and I'm going to read the question to Pamela. What does it mean to manifest love in one's life, to live lovingly? Pamela, what does this mean to you?
To me, it's about living in my natural state and not fighting me and what is natural to me. Who am I asking? Who am I
Yep.
asking?
Yeah, Pamela, read the question and ask Joan, what does this mean to you?
Thank you. Joan, what does it mean to manifest love in one's life, to live lovingly?
What that means to me is it's like value. It's like when I really truly value what I have in my life and the people I have. And that's true love to me, is seeing the value that I have for myself and others.
So Joan, you read the question and ask me, what does this mean to you?
Jan, what does this mean to you? What does it mean to manifest love in one's life, to live lovingly?
And what that means to me is to be constantly aware of loving. And it's like, well, it's an energetic thing, isn't it? Sort of manifesting love, and it all comes back to me. So Thomas, read the answer and ask Jean, what does this mean to you?
Jean, what does this mean to you? It means to give always to everybody, under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love.
What this means to me is don't put my likes and dislikes into everything. You just share, because that's that feeling within of one with all things and everyone's equal, and it's not up to me to discern or choose what other people should it's learning to mind my own business when I'm doing it, because it's not up to me how other people receive it. Yeah. Thank you.
So Jean, read the answer and ask Leonie, what does this mean to you?
Okay. Leonie, what does this mean to you? It means to give always to everybody, under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love.
what it means is there's no circumstances in which I need to change who I am and how I'm reacting to things. It's consistent.
Leonie, read the answer and ask Thomas, what does this mean to you?
It means to give always to everybody under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love. What does this mean for you, Thomas?
For me, it means no judging and no greater and lesser, and not thinking I'm better than somebody else or that I deserve more. And it's always seeing the other person as myself. And that if I'm given to somebody else, it's like given to me. I mean, that's kind of a trick, but that's probably the ideal of it.
So Thomas, what does it mean to manifest love in one's life, to live lovingly?
It means to give always to everybody under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love.
So what that means to me is like, well, it's just a constant thing, isn't it? There's all those songs out there. Love makes the world go round. All you need is love, all that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, it's kind of manifesting.
Yeah, for me, it means it's my choice. And if I choose to give, I'll be more love. If I choose to give, I'll be more love and I'll be happier. I guess that's why angels do what they do.
So Pamela, call on Jean, read the question. Jean, read the answer and both share.
Jean, what does it mean to manifest love in oneself, to live lovingly?
Pamela, it means to give always to everybody under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love. And what that means to me is just flow and go and give love without saying with hooks, just give, because I don't need the hook, a hook in it. That's a limitation. So to me, it's just being and manifesting and being love, so that I just exude love for my fellow man just naturally without hooks.
For me, it's about giving of my true self, knowing that there's no lesser than, better than, or lesser than, and it's more natural and easier and more enjoyable to come from love than any other feeling or emotion.
Joan, call on Leonie, read the question. Leonie, read the answer and both share.
Leonie, what does it mean to manifest love in one's life, to live lovingly?
It means to give always to everybody under all circumstances, the radiance of one's love.
I was getting this really strong sense of freedom, you know, that whole live and let live feeling came about me, you know, and I really got a strong sense that I need to put that back on me. I need to love me. And once I do that, I'll understand it.
For me, it's about a simplification of my life, a consistency of service, and it's consistency in thought, word, and deed as well. But it is very much simpler.
Hey. So, question people, write down the answer. Answer people, write down the question, if you have not done it already. All good, ready for the next one?
Mm.
Can I read that one?
What practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square? Spirit that is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached.
Okay, question people, write down the question. Answer people, write down the answer. All ready?
Yep.
So what practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square? Pamela, what does this mean to you?
Sorry, my printer's doing silly things. What practical result is obtained in living according to the principle of it's living in perfect harmony.
So Pamela, read the question and ask Joan, what does this mean to you?
Joan, what practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square?
Less hassle. I keep coming back to that word freedom and flexibility and living in a big picture mode as opposed to getting bogged down by the detail.
So Joan, read the question and ask me, what does this mean to me?
Hello, me. Jan, what does this mean to you? What practical results is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square?
To me, it means that there's not just theory, you know, how can I make it practical? There is a practical way to it all. Because there's a lot of theory there. But yeah, so there's a practical aspect to it. So Thomas, read the answer and ask Jean, what does this mean to you?
Jean, what does this mean to you? Spirit that is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached.
That to me is a perfect balance. Balance within, balance without, and manifesting both. Yeah. In a harmony.
So Jean, read the answer and ask Leonie, what does this mean to you?
Leonie, spirit that is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached. What does that mean to you?
A very practical experience of life, of reality. And it's more like the life I came to live, that I actually incarnated for.
Leonie, read the answer and ask Thomas, what does this mean to you?
Spirit that is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached. What does that mean to you, Thomas?
That sounds like kind of I'd be turning into God. Just you know, I mean, if that's about everything a person could ask for: power, freedom, harmony. You know, be like on a Star Trek episode or something.
So, Thomas, what practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square?
Spirit that is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached.
But to me, yeah, it feels like the ultimate. It's like, you know, in some religions it's called nirvana, etc., or heaven. So it's being heaven on earth. Yeah, that's kind of what it means to me.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like a simple recipe for how to live one's life, and it's not full of a whole bunch of really long words, which I really like. You know, the 1-syllable words like truth and love, and, you know, they're easy to understand, and not so easy to do, but easy to understand.
So Pamela, call on Jean, read the question, Jean read the answer, and both share.
Jean, what practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square? You're on mute.
Jean.
Muting me is very bad. Pamela, spirit is all freedom and all harmony, all power is reached.
For me, that means living in harmony with my freedom and the reality of the power of the freedom I have in my life.
And to me, yeah, it means I've already have the solution to anything that could possibly happen, and just by the basic principle of life, it's like a code to live by.
Joan, call on Leonie, read the question, and Leonie read the answer, and both share.
Leonie, what practical result is obtained in living according to the 4 principles of the square?
Spirit is all freedom, all harmony, all power is reached. These are the ultimate experiences that are worth passing on.
Yeah, when I was reading my question over and over and listening to people, it was a strong sense of I am a soul. And I understand that inside out, and it just is. And therefore, I live it.
Okay. No, we have to write down. Go back.
Oh,
If you haven't got it, write down the other part. Anybody not got it? Both parts? All righty, let's move on. Because we've got a lot to write on the next one.
It's good to know the facts.
Yeah, that's right.
next one.
Yeah, thanks. Let's read that.
How many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness? There are 5. The sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, and the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God.
Right, you're now allowed to write the whole thing. We're going. Nearly done? You done, Joan? Okay. So, how many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness? Pamela, what does this mean to you?
To me, that means that there's various levels of understanding of myself. And the more I propel, the more I reach my next levels of understanding.
So Pamela, read the question and ask Joan, what does this mean to you?
Joan, what does the question, how many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness, mean to you?
That there's levels, and that I have freedom to move within those levels, and that it's fun. Life is fun and simple.
So Joan, read the question and ask me, what does it mean to you?
Jan, what does this mean to you? How many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness?
What that means to me is it's just not one state of being, you know, I'm more complex than I thought, but it's part of my humanness. So Thomas, read the answer and ask Jean, what does this mean to you?
Jean, what does this mean to you? There are 5, the sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God.
Unmute.
That what that means to me is that there's stages and there's well, I call it evolving, and there's different levels in it, and God is just simple but complete. That's the way it feels to me.
So Jean, read the answer and ask Leonie, what does this mean to you?
Leonie, there are 5, the sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, and the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God. What does this mean to you?
This it actually explains a lot. The sum of all lives means for me about my past lives and my future lives and my current life and all the other lives of everything on the planet. Sum of all intelligences is different types of intelligences and different factors. Sum of all truths is how truth evolves and how it's been evolving for thousands of years and will continue to do so. The sum of all truths, of all love. That's all about creating and what that impact can mean. The sum of all beings, the impact of other humans and the impact of other beings, not necessarily humans, and how that can run with. And while this is incredibly complex, it is quite simple. The detail of it is amazing.
Leonie, read the answer and ask Thomas, what does this mean to you?
The sum of all, there are 5. The sum of all lives, sum of all intelligence, sum of all truths, sum of all loves, and the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God. What does this mean to you, Thomas?
Yeah, for me, it means a whole change of my idea of what God is. You know, I mean, I was taught as a kid religion as some God that I could pray to and would answer my prayers. And this principle is not going to answer my prayers. There's no personality there at all involved with it that is going to answer my prayer. So prayer sort of becomes almost useless. And the only thing that I need to, I guess that's it. That's what it means to me.
So Thomas, how many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness?
There are 5: the sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God.
Now, for me, that means there's just a wondrous thing that I'm part of, you know, the all, the source, the absolute. And I'm part of that. So I'm all of those things as well. So let's have to measure up a bit more.
Yeah, for me, it means I have a lot of freedom where I sort of focus my attention. It could be on past lives, future lives, what I think about, what I love, and you know, there's just so much that I can focus on, and then it's all good. You know, it's just all good as long as I'm not I don't know, as long as I stay in tune with it and be one with it. When I start separating myself from it, that's when it starts to become hurtful or harmful.
So Pamela, call on Jean, read the question. Jean, read the answer and both share.
Jean, how many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness?
Pamela, there are 5: the sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, the sum of all beings. This is the great principle, the absolute, called God. What does that mean to you?
For me, it means that there's so many different things to learn and so many different levels of those learnings for me to learn as a soul. But it's not just for this lifetime, it's the soul as it keeps evolving through various lifetimes, be this planet or whichever planet I go to. But it's all about the learning and the evolution in those key areas to gain further insight and wisdom and love.
Joan, call on Leonie and read the question. Leonie, read the answer and both share.
Because I haven't shared.
I beg your pardon, sorry.
Okay. It doesn't matter because I'm sitting here and my guides are telling me stuff. For me, that means if I really tune into the feeling of the beingness and being part of that and belonging there, I can, everything else, all the trivia of the planet really becomes not non-essential, but makes it less important because I'm evolving in those states and expanding that way. Thank you.
Go, Joan.
Yep. Leonie, question. How many statements of being are there in the present state of human consciousness?
There are 5: the sum of all lives, the sum of all intelligences, the sum of all truths, the sum of all loves, the sum of all beings. This is a great principle, the absolute, called God.
So I'm God now, right?
It had been.
Gotta be.
I love it. I reached the pinnacle. Yes. So all jokes aside, that's it. Irrelevant of what I think about myself, right? I am my own God to myself. You know, I am the sun that I evolve around, revolve, rotary, all of that kind of stuff there. But what I really liked about this is it's just simple. It's just not a big deal. It just is.
For me, this is like total acceptance of my uniqueness, and also that there is so much good out there that needs acknowledgement. Any other focus is or could easily become a stagnation, or even worse, a total waste of an opportunity, a great opportunity.
Very good. All right, let's go back to the slides. Next one. So these two talk about, well, three actually. The spiritual compatibility profile, 1003D. The prerequisite is the 1001 orientation profile, and to have experienced the 1003A. The percentage of balance and glandular systems profile is recommended. That's what it looks like. Next one. It says, have you ever wished you could have a better communication and relationship with some of the people close to you? This profile is designed to help any two people who want sincerely to have crystal clear communication and develop a closer business or personal relationship. Both people take the consultation at the same time with accredited consultant from the Waitrose College. During the consultation, both parties will discover more about each other spiritually and how well the relationship is meeting their needs. They will both emerge with a new respect and a better understanding for themselves and their relationship. Anybody had that done? I don't think we have we? Bit scared.
It's not that bad.
Me
I
too,
did it and I
Jan.
stayed married for years afterwards, so go for it.
One of the key things is it actually doesn't matter as long as you've had it with your partner or whatever. And a lot of people's partners don't want to have it. You can have it with someone else, and the tendencies are the same. You know, like we hear about this. I divorced one and I married his brother.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
You know, or you married your father. It's exactly the same energy. It can be more dramatic with a full-on love relationship. But yeah.
Or they could totally ignore it, like my husband did.
Oh, is that right?
And we know a bit about that, don't we?
Thomas does it. Is that right? Yeah. Do you do it, Leonie?
Yeah, I do.
Anyone else?
No.
Okay, no, I don't.
It's highly revealing. I did it in the States for a couple, and he got qualified so he could do this particular consult. And it was the first time he'd ever been able to articulate how important he thought his wife's job was. And he was able to articulate it. And she earned a third of what he did. But her job was about the future. And it just altered how she perceived her job completely.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right, well, we're at that wrap-up stage. So let's just see here.
We have lots of questions now, eh?
Oh. Okay, let's see. We're going to read. Who feels like reading?
I
will.
like reading. Oh, go for it, Pamela.
Wrap up. With this course, what have I learned about some of my habits? What have I learned about my wisdom? What have I learned about leaving myself out? What have I learned about cutting off my outflow?
Okay. So just want to pick one of those and share on it. Starting with anybody.
I'll start.
Okay.
What have I learned about leaving myself out? I can't keep doing it. I see how I do it. I've been given a full blockage profile in a matter of about 30 seconds on that particular treatment that I give myself and where it came from, and how disruptive it is to the course of my growth.
I'll share what have I learned about my wisdom, that it is unique and it's okay to think of it that way as well.
So
Sharing on one, are we?
What?
Are we just sharing on one that stands out to us? Is that
Yep.
what we're doing?
Yeah, pick one.
Well, the one for me, I'll do D, cutting off my outflow, because that really puts me into leaving myself out and all the other things and falling into the stagnant thing and doing all that. For me, that's very important for me not to do that. And I've got real keys on stopping it and how it was done and all that kind of stuff. So it's great.
and mine is C. What have I learned about leaving myself out? Well, I don't. Because even when I'm leaving myself out, I'm doing something with me. So it's a waste of time. And usually it comes back to, my first 7 years. So again, I'm not 7 anymore. I've moved on from there. So it's a waste of time.
So I guess the same thing here. Who wants to read this one?
Happy to.
Hi? Yep.
What have I learned about staying directed? What have I learned about being patient? What have I learned about spiritual unfoldment and expansion? What have I learned about the value of my LFN energy and concept map?
You can share on any or all of them. Just share on. We'll just go around once.
I can start if you want.
Yep.
I got it. And what have I learned about being patient? Because that's my key word for the day. and came up down in one of the things about, and my guide said that when I'm not patient with myself and I rush myself, hurry up, discern what's going on. And if I don't take that patience and time to discern, I fall into all the bad habits and get caught. And so that's for me is very learning to be patient with myself, because discerning the feeling and what's going on takes a little bit more time than my competitive intuition. Not intuition. What do you call that? The brain, thought.
Intellect.
That's it. That's the word.
Again.
Yeah, so I'm looking at G. What have I learned about spiritual unfoldment and expansion? Again, what I'm learning is that it has to happen. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen. It's not to fuss or concern myself about it. Just breathe and just let it be, and it'll just naturally happen. The more relaxed I am, the more I unfold and the more I expand.
For me, it's about, well, pretty much all of those. It's when I'm really watching the energy that's, the outflow energy of the planet, and I'm working with that, I'm in sync, and therefore I am being directed and patient. And while I'm being directed and patient, I'm working with the energy that I need to, and I'm moving forward, I'm propelling, and I'm understanding things more, and I'm not rebelling against things, and everything's flowing naturally. So I'm getting the unfoldment that I need at the speed I need at that time.
Yeah, I was tuning in because that's part of the reason I read it with F and G there. What have I learned about being patient? That is actually the fastest way to get anywhere, is being patient with myself. What have I learned about spiritual unfoldment and expansion? It can take time, but it doesn't have to. And it's just really about discerning exactly where I am on that unfoldment in a particular, and expansion on a particular subject. That's it.
Okay, I just have a inspiration to try something. Let's just close your eyes and just tune into your inner self and see yourself inside that pyramid of the 4 squares and coming up to the top, the point where it's spirit at the top. And just see yourself in there, see yourself solid and secure. And then just see the sum of all lives. And then see the sum of all intelligences. And see the sum of all truths. And see the sum of all loves. And see the sum of all beings. See that as yourself. The great principle, the absolute, called God. You just say a little affirmation to yourself. I am that I am. And that I am, I am. And when you're ready, just come back and share if you had any experience. Cleanse. Share your experience.
For me, I felt all of my soul lessons in I am all my lives, I am all my love, I am all in my intelligences. Yeah, I am all of those. And that's what makes me my God. And feeling myself and my power in that pyramid, and feeling the energy around me, and the energy like going up the walls and just permeating through the whole space and permeating through me, felt so incredibly empowering. And it was like being in present with me now. Thank you.
For me, I had this vision of layers of all those things being part of me, being part of my 5th dimension. And for me, it just felt like the eternity. And that's the essence, and that's the essence that I'm spreading everywhere. It's just that belonging everywhere. Yeah, that's the feeling I got from the pyramid.
Yeah, when I went into the pyramid, I was a physical body. And as you were sharing and talking, I began to change to the light that I am. And the feeling of that was the ultimate God for me. It was that feeling of having no boundaries, no containment other than me, my own pulsating energy. But it was that freedom that I felt with that change, to see myself as I truly am, an intelligent ball of light.
I was tuning into the triangles that were surrounding me, and feeling the strength of the base upon which it was all grown, and how that is, there were no real barriers. I was in the triangle, I was in the pyramid, but I was not trapped in the pyramid. I was free. But just the absolute strength of the pyramid. And I can understand why humankind built so many of them way back.
Yeah, for me, it was a bit like Joan, sort of like I could feel my physical self, and that slowly became more one with everything, one with all. I guess it's that feeling of beingness that was limitless and eternal. I had a quick vision of Hewitt out in his new galaxy out there. It's like, I can go anywhere at any time, and be anywhere at any time.
You're in a limo. All right, well, we're at the end of the course. So let's go around and regroup your keyword and your goal, and share your highlight and how you're going to make it practical in your daily life.
My keyword was love. Love of self really was the goal. This particular session really showed, pulled together a whole lot of threads, I think, that have been sort of floating around, and just seeing who I really am. I've enjoyed all of the courses we've done, and I particularly enjoyed the feeling of being in the pyramid. I actually have that dream on a regular basis of being in this pyramid. I've never fully understood what it could mean, and now I have one understanding that can promote a whole lot more. So it's quite profound for me. Thank you.
So my keyword was purpose. My goal was all about work with my energy to mold into success. And I think I know I've achieved that, because with the theme of the month, one of the things that I had to have sacred to myself is how I feel about myself, how I see myself. And all of a sudden I have a different picture. And with that picture, I can move forward. I can propel myself forward. I don't have to do any more work anymore, other than just for my own enjoyment and refinement. Thank you.
That sent Jean off into endless pictures. But,
Come back, Jean.
yeah, come back. Don't go near the light.
We've got work to do.
no, my keyword was suspense. And I thought, oh, that was an interesting word I got. I thought, because I don't, you know, I'm usually get the same boring words. And I get irritated after a while, but suspense. And I thought, yes, and with that word, I get a feeling of excitement. And yeah, and that's what I have. I've got a key into why I'm certain things happen around me and my behavior, how I, you know, don't stand up in certain circumstances, and what that's about. And I got it really clear. And because my goal was learn, flow, and grow. So I've done all those, learn, flow, and grow. Because the flow is all about movement and learning. I'm learning how I, you know, get caught and grow. Yes, I've definitely grown. I've just been wanting to float out into the universe. And yes, so I'm starting to feel part. This is the only thing I can explain. I had a different feeling in this course. Like I enjoy all of them, but I had a different feeling, and I suddenly realized I'm starting to belong in LFN. I'm picking up that feeling in this, and I'm starting to immerse into it. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's me.
My keyword is nostalgia, and my goal is to be in the flow. And when I got the word nostalgia, I thought, what the hell? But it makes sense because it's looking back at the past, and it's looking back at my evolution in the past and where I am now. And to be in the flow is just to be that soul, that person, that who I am, and to love that. And yeah, like Jean, this course has actually helped me feel like I'm in LFN. Yeah, before it was like I was in the theory of LFN, but now I'm in the flow of LFN. I feel like I'm connecting at a deeper level, and I've arrived at me now. Thank you.
For the family.
And my keyword was accept, and my goal was to know that I know, and my feelings know that I know, but my intellect still needs some reassurance. So having that balance, you know, it's interesting because when we do this, when we prepare for it, you know, we do it ourselves and so on. And then when we do it, having done it again tonight, it's like, well, each time it's different. And so, I mean, huge, enormous opportunity that I'm in, actually.
Yeah, my keyword was practice, and my goal was just one step at a time. And I'm just always amazed these courses and watching the effect they have. And you know, and really what it is it's the spirit, that energy of spirit that comes through and just opens us up. Because if when I just read the slides, I'm like, nah, you know, it doesn't sound all that amazing at all. But then when we all share and listen to each other share, it is truly phenomenal. It's okay. Jan has an announcement to make.
Oh, there's a couple of things. Tomorrow we're doing the first course with this. It's just a little group in America. There's 3 of them. Course 101, the Great Family of Mankind. And what I said just before, you know, about this will be the 3rd time we've put this course on this year, right? And both of us looked at each other and thought, I can't remember reading these. These are good. So check it out if you have the feeling, if you're available, you're very welcome to come and join us tomorrow. It's 11 o'clock our time in the morning, so it'd be 9 o'clock for you. your choice entirely, you know, but just let us know and we can send you the link. But yeah, I mean, as a first course, we were a bit gobsmacked today ourselves, just having done it already twice and still got stuff out of it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So,
it's truly a rabbit hole. It just keeps going more and more.
yeah.
There's no end.
Interesting.
It's amazing.
All right, so who'd like the opportunity to cleanse the environment? I think maybe you, Thomas, because you did such a good thing with that little technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Let's say
Like you do.
just cleanse and call in your guidance, and just tune into yourself, tune into your godlike part, and see yourself just expanding and turning into a giant of a god. Just feel yourself full of harmony and power and peace and joy and love. And just be like a giant walking over the planet and just throwing out seeds of understanding and seeds of enlightenment and seeds of joy and happiness to everyone you meet. And just see people picking them up and eating them and very slowly turning it into a little bit of a plant that grows inside them and that turns into their own plant of godliness or whatever they want to be. And come back to yourself and just see yourself sitting on a beach, laying back on a what they call it, chaise lounge thing, and just sitting there with a pina colada, sitting in the shade, feeling the lovely warm breeze, and just hearing the kids' laughter as they running around playing ball, and just feel yourself just so glad to be alive. It's just feeling wonderful, and just say, this is living. And then release all that to the universe and come back to yourself and cleanse and share how that felt.
Well, that was different. Pina colada and all.
I don't know.
I had one.
Yeah, me too.
Two.
I was drinking it. I was drinking it.
It took me
Definitely.
right back to all those courses I did with Francisco back in the day with the big barfuls of pina colada.
It was very
It was enjoyable.
yeah, very relaxing. Mm.
Felt like a Sprouts, believe it or not, at one stage before the word pina colada came. And then I realized it was coconut juice that was in my pina colada, as well as alcohol.
Maybe it should be Mai Tai or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Mm-mm. Nice.
You got to live with life.
All right, so have a good week.
Oh, yeah.
You too.
And we'll go
See you. Bye.
1, 2, 3. This energy is closed.
Wow.
One,
1, 2,
two,
3. This
three.
energy
This
is
energy
Energy is
closed.
closed.
See you guys.
Yeah.
So
Bye.
it's wonderful. Bye-bye for now.
Yeah.
Bye. Cheers. Yeah, I was getting too serious or something, huh?